Attention, fellow gamers! Have you ever felt unsmart, unfocused, or just plain ungood at video games? Oh boy, I know I sure have! That's why I went out and bought this gaming sleeve from some YouTubers. You know, this is probably one of the worst decisions I've ever made. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the future of e-gaming, the eSmartr sleeve.
It's time to try something new. You've had the answer all along.
This is literally a sleeve that you put on your dominant arm, and it makes you smarter. Don't believe me? Believe the video.
Play better.
Are you guys seeing this?
Learn faster. What? Create more.
This thing is real. Real.
Be the best version of you. eSmartr. Play, learn, create.
I can't believe how much production value has gone into some of the commercials trying to promote this stupid thing. That's one of the first things that drives home the fact that I think this thing is a scam. And I didn't really want to bash the product without, buying it and trying it for myself, as snake oily as it might be, so I spent 65 of my own dollars to get this stupid thing shipped to my house so I could try it, so I can unbox it, so I can wear it, and and so I can regret it. But you know what? Let's go ahead and open this stupid thing up. There's a box within a box within a box, it seems like. But look, it's got some really fancy packaging. We have the eSmartr packaging, branding all over. There's a cool scorpion on the back. That's how you know it's legit. So let's just go ahead and take this box apart, throw that on the ground, and open this baby up. Oh, wait a minute, this way. I had it upside down. Here you go. It's literally just a sleeve in a box. The material, I already hate it. This is the kind of material that I actually hate physically touching with my fingers. I don't think everybody would hate it, though. It's just, I don't know. I have a weird thing about this specific material for some reason. Anyway, I'm going to... Oh, there's a little instruction card here. You just put the stupid thing on your arm. Let me show you the inside of this first. Let's turn this inside out. This is the technology. This is the technology. It's admittedly different than I expected. I thought it was going to be like the, you know those patterns that appear on those sweaters that you wore when you were little? The like rubber patterns that were on there? That's what I thought this was, but this is like, this feels like actual liquid rubber. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it looks like a blown up thumbprint to me. It looks like a blown up fingerprint. And that's what goes on your forearm of the dominant arm, and it's supposed to make you smarter. Is it going to make me smarter? I don't know, I already feel dumber. So that's one point against it. I hate this material, jeez. Gotta turn this thing back inside out. I will say, this material feels breathable. It feels like it'll be relatively tight on my forearm, which is what you're gonna want. Here we go. I feel stupid. I feel absolutely, unequivocally stupid. Oh, I feel smarter already. I don't know, this thing, do I really wanna wear this stupid thing for a week? I don't know, that's this challenge that I put forth to myself. Wear this stupid thing for a week and feel how it affects me. What have I done? This thing is going to cut off my circulation. I guess some of my very first impressions are that 1, it's lighter than I thought, and 2, it's tighter than I thought, and 3, the little rubber thing that's going up against my forearm, I can feel it. It's very, very apparent that this thing is touching me, which I think is part of the point, and that's supposed to be what activates the neurons and makes your neurology better according to these videos. But now that this stupid thing is on, let's go ahead and get into, I guess what I'm gonna call the teardown. Obviously, if you see a product like this on the internet, you see somebody promoting it on Twitter, or you see somebody promoting it on Twitch or YouTube, as this has been, and I'm not joking here, big streamers and YouTubers like Trihex, Raynad Gaming, Zero from the Smash Brothers. These are the people that are supporting this. These are the people that are putting their name behind this, and it's not just because of them. It's because of the esports organization that they're a part of. It's called Tempo Storm, and they're seeming to put all of their weight behind this. From what I can tell, the whole esports organization is owned by Raynad himself, and I think this is just a desperate ploy to get some money. And based on the amount of attention that this product has gotten, I don't think it's working. Before we dive into any of these videos, I want to show you something very important that I saw whenever I went to go buy this stupid thing. On the website, when you go to the shop page and you scroll down, you're kind of looking for a sizing chart, right? Because something like this, you want it to fit right. I can't get over how stupid I feel wearing this thing. My roommates are going to be like, what the hell is that? And I'm going to have to explain to them it's supposed to make me smarter. It's like, I swear, it's cutting off my circulation in my arm, my hand. Is that how it makes you smarter? It literally robs your hand of blood flow so it can go to your brain. Brilliant! I've solved the puzzle. So you find your sizing chart and you notice something a little weird to begin with. First off, there's only 4 sizes, and these sizes seem to have a pretty large range of different circumferences of the forearm that you're supposed to measure to get the accurate size of sleeve. That may not seem weird to you at first, but let's try to put this in perspective. I want you to guess my skinny-ass forearm, and for a frame of reference, I weigh like 135 pounds on a good day, 130 being my bad day. I want you to guess what the circumference of my forearm is. My skinny-ass forearm, this is just over 10 inches. I'm considered a large according to this sizing chart. Does that make sense? No! In what world do I wear a large? I sometimes wear small shirts. I wear medium shirts normally. I am not a big person. And for me to be considered a large, that just immediately sets off a red flag. You can go and look up just about any arm sleeve sizing chart and you'll see something completely different. One of the first ones that I pulled up has small at 6.5 to 8 inches. Sorry, I was reading the palm. The upper mid-arm, which is going to be your forearm. According to this, a small is 10 to 13.5 inches. I'd be more willing to buy that. An extra small would probably go down to, I don't know, 7.5 inches at the bare minimum. But here's the reason that I'm harping on this. Someone's arm, the circumference of it is going to be a lot longer than you would expect. If you take, I don't know, if you take my shirt, for example, and you rip it along the seam and you spread it out, it's going to be very long. It's going to be unexpectedly long. But the sizing chart for the eSmartr sleeve has a small size pegged at 3 inches to 5 inches. Now, I want you to take a moment and guess what thing that you see normally is 3 inches or 5 inches. To put that in perspective, this can you focus? Like, geez, this is a United States quarter. This is 3.14 inches in circumference. Again, I know it's really hard to believe, but something small can have a really large circumference. It's geometry, okay? If you don't trust me, trust Google or calculate it yourself. It's about 3.14 inches. If you've ever seen anybody with a forearm, a wide part of their forearm of this size, please let me know. I don't think it's possible at all. Even a baby, newborn, is not going to have a forearm this small unless they're extremely emaciated, extremely starved, or otherwise probably dying. This doesn't exist. 5 inches is roughly this bottle of glasses cleaning fluid. And to put that in perspective, next to the quarter, here you go. There's not much of a difference. There's an appreciable difference, sure, but there's not much. My point is, if this is going to be a legitimate product, they would have had sized this appropriately. They wouldn't have made small equal to something that is most likely physically impossible, except in the presence of an extreme deformation. And even then, it should be sized at an extra small or an extra extra small. To size it as a small, I think, only serves to boost the ego of people who think that they're small and then they wind up being a large according to this sizing chart. My guess is that this sizing chart was designed so that most people fall within the large or extra large category. My forearm for the average 30-year-old adult, I'm pretty sure is below average. I own that. That's just who I am. I am my own forearm. But here's the thing. What about somebody who's muscular? What about somebody who's been working out? Their forearm has grown to be girthy. What about somebody who is overweight, who wants to be eSmartr too? What if they outsize the extra large because of this sizing chart being completely incorrect? If this thing was real, these things would have been taken into account. There's no way that they wouldn't have. If the research was real, and yes, there is research, if the research was real, this wouldn't be a problem. This wouldn't be something that somebody like me looks at and says, "Are you kidding me? I hate this. I absolutely hate this." Let me introduce you to the founders of eSmartr.
My name is Yasmin Dhaliwal. I'm currently a law student at Osgoode Hall Law School.
Hey, I'm Galen Dhaliwal, and I'm an undergrad student at York University. The eSmartr Sleeve is easy, and it gives you a competitive edge in school. And we know this can unlock your neurological potential.
Excuse me, what? Neurological potential?
As we all know, life can be overly comparative and competitive today. It can be toxic and even counterproductive to obsess over how well others are doing in school, their professional lives, or even personal lives.
And this product will help you unlock your neurological potential.
Your neurological potential. Okay, I have so many questions. First off, if this thing was legitimate, why are these kids the co-founder? They say they went to their dad and said, "How can we make this happen?"
So we were so excited about the idea. We went to our dad and asked, hey, what can we do to make this happen and whether it's even possible?
First off, what do a law student and an undergraduate, which for those of you who don't know, it just means you're in your first few years of college, what do these people have anything to do with neuroscience? How do these people know that this sleeve is going to make anybody smarter? They say that their dad has a company, and then they say it's their idea to have a sleeve that makes students and gamers do better. I don't understand how this train of thought even got started. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up.
Because we know that innovation and development have to happen with children in mind. They are the future. And we're so excited about this technology because it can empower kids to enjoy and succeed in school. And that's really what drove this project.
Throughout this video, they're kind of harping on the low-hanging fruit. They're caring about the children, which, yes, we should care about won't somebody think of the children? Yes, we got to think about the children. And again, low-hanging fruit. It's easy to say, let's develop it with children in mind.
I've seen students rely on unsafe substances or cut out sleep and ultimately just sacrifice their wellness in the name of competition.
We've noticed our peers using unsafe substances.
And it worked. And we knew gamers would want this competitive edge as well.
We noticed that this can also help gamers do their video gaming. Give me a break. Show me some real frickin' research, huh? Show me some research. Show me the research.
I'm here with Dr. Joe Baldino, our VP of Neuroperformance. So Dr. Joe, what is executive function?
Executive function is a complex set of cognitive skills that makes it so a person can engage in activity and see it through to completion. There's three main areas of executive function: working memory, cognitive flexibility, and inhibitory self-control.
The way that these people are delivering these questions and these lines and everything that they're saying just screams fake to me. If you go through and watch every single one of these videos like I have, you'll feel a little gross and slimy by the end of it because you feel like somebody has been trying to sell you something. And clearly, other people are figuring this out too, because if you look at the like and dislike ratio of nearly every single one of these videos, I want to say it's overwhelmingly negative, but there's not very many people actually engaging with the video in the first place, which is actually hilarious to me.
Dr. Joe, how did we go about proving the efficacy of the eSmartr cognitive boost technology?
Recent developments in EEG and QEEG technologies allow researchers to identify and investigate the cognitive neural networks of executive function.
Who answers a question this way? What? You're answering like you're writing a research paper. Talk like a human being, Dr. Joe Baldino. You're not even a real Baldino. But what's not fake, I looked this guy up. He actually has medical, he's a medical doctor. He's a chiropractor up in Illinois. This guy is a real doctor. They got a real doctor in on this as well. I don't get it. How are these people real? Do these people actually believe in what they're doing? Is their research legitimate? This is, I have so many questions. I'm getting more worked up over this than I thought I would. Actually verbalizing these thoughts, it's doing something to me. Or maybe it's the sleeve. It's bringing out the rage. I hate this thing so much. It's like already itchy. I've been wearing it for about 20 minutes now, and we have much longer to go.
Technologies allow researchers to identify and investigate the cognitive neural networks of executive function, attention, memory, and information flow.
I love the way that she's acknowledging what he's saying. He's just spewing out these words that sound good and they sound scientifical. And to somebody who doesn't know any better, they're going to take these as gospel because they don't know any better. But just the way she's answering these questions, she's just like...
As you can clearly see, the executive function network of the subjects with the eSmartr CBT sleeve is showing optimal performance as indicated by the dominantly green vectors connecting the various nodes. This is indicative of harmonized and optimized executive function, leading to enhanced decision-making, working memory, cognitive flexibility, and inhibitory control.
The people that are going to be watching these videos aren't going to know any better. To me, this looks like a classic scam of somebody selling something with confidence to somebody who doesn't know any better. I don't know anything about neuroscience. You don't know anything about neuroscience. Most likely. I'm not going to assume that I don't have any neuroscientists in my audience, but all of these words are being thrown around in an attempt to bamboozle somebody who doesn't know any better. And it's disgusting. You might be wondering, you might be thinking to yourself, you might be at this point of the video thinking, hey, why am I still watching this crap? Why does this matter about gaming? Who gives a crap about a stupid sleeve that's clearly a scam that your dumb butt spent $65 on? Please support me on Patreon. But why does this matter? This matters because of the YouTubers that I mentioned earlier, the streamers, the people with big audiences, big impressionable audiences. We have Zero of the Smash gaming community. We have Trihex, a speedrunner. And we have Raynad. I don't even know what he does because this is like the first time I've even heard of him, but he has a pretty significant audience too. And it goes beyond just these three guys. The entirety of the Tempo Storm esports team or organization or whatever you want to call it seem to be behind this as part of a contractual obligation to sell whatever the esports team needs them to. You have other gamers who play other games under the Tempo Storm name or Tempo Storm moniker, selling this thing to their followers. They're showing it on Twitter. They're throwing ads out there, and I'm pretty sure that most of the time they're not even saying it's an ad. Oh, hi, Editor Mode Alex here. I'm currently in the process of editing this little section, and as I was going back to Twitter to confirm what I say in this little section, I found 9 tweets from Tempo Storm members basically shilling this eSmartr product. Only one of them made it clear that that tweet was an ad. Those of you who have been on YouTube or online for any amount of time know that this is a huge no-no. Anything that is sponsored must be disclosed, and it must be disclosed very clearly. This seems to be a much bigger deal than I thought. It's a little after midnight on June 1st, and later in the video you'll hear me say things like, To their credit, I haven't seen them talk about this thing past an initial contractual obligation, but as of today, these tweets are still popping up. I don't watch the content from any of these streamers or YouTubers or esports gamers, so I cannot say definitively that they're not shilling this product to their fans and their viewers as well. So whenever I give them credit later on in the video, please keep this little segment in mind. While searching for these tweets, I found a very informative thread from somebody who seems to know what he's talking about as far as EEGs and QEEGs are concerned. I'm not going to read it out here because it's long, but for anybody who's interested, I'm going to leave a link to that tweet in the description below, so please take a look. He even goes to the trouble of referencing his own sources and papers that basically prove why the EEG technology and QEEG technology is unreliable at best and is still hotly debated, which means a lot for the results of the tests run with this sleeve. Sorry for the interruption, back to the video. And I find it absolutely disgusting and shameful. And I know some of you might be asking, hey, what's the difference between this and your ad in a previous video about a game called Kurtzspell? What's the difference between this and somebody promoting Dollar Shave Club? Or what's the difference between this and NatureBox or whatever you want? The big difference is the authenticity of what's being sold, right? All of these other products that I mentioned, and a majority of all the things that YouTubers even bother to put in their video, are legitimate products. Kurtzspell, I don't know if it's a great game or not. I didn't spend that much time in it. Let's full disclosure here, but it's a product that people like, that people will enjoy, and that you can get good value out of, especially if you don't like to pay for your games for whatever reason. Dollar Shave Club is a real product that you pay money for to get razors delivered to your house so you can shave your face or your head, I guess. NatureBox, you're paying for snacks, allegedly healthy snacks. You're getting a good, appreciable value for what you're paying for. Might they be overpriced? Sure, I don't know, but there's something that you can use and consume and have and not feel completely gypped for paying for. And that's the big difference here. They're not snake oil. They're not a wristband. They're not a sports sleeve that promises to make you smarter, that promises to unlock your neurological potential.
Your neurological potential.
My point is that these YouTubers that people look up to, these streamers that people look up to, are lying to their fan base, directly or indirectly. Now, I will give them some credit here. Of the people that I've seen actually promote this in some way, they don't seem to be super involved in the promotion of it. Now, I don't watch any of these creators, and I don't know if anybody that is watching this does, but please correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen in any of the videos that I watched of Zero around the time that the news of this dropped, I haven't seen him even bother promoting this. I haven't seen him even wearing it in his videos. I think I've seen a few clips of Trihex wearing it in some of his stream VODs or stream clips on Twitter, but I haven't seen much direct talk from him about it either. As far as Reynad goes, I'd be surprised if I didn't find a lot if I looked into it, just because he owns TempoStorm and he probably wants to get his value out of the sponsorship deal. But what I think is happening here is some contractual obligation between TempoStorm and all of the players that are signed underneath it to do a bare minimum of wear this in some streams, to participate in commercials, to tweet out about it, and try and spread the word of this thing existing and potentially helping you be a better gamer. And I don't know what these people's financial situations are. For all I know, the contract that they're under for TempoStorm traps them into this. For all I know, they could be practically killing themselves if they broke the contract for whatever reason. And I haven't decided if that's a good excuse or not. Because at the end of the day, these people are lying to their audience. They're selling snake oil to a bunch of impressionable kids. And before you say, hey, nobody's gonna buy this, it's obviously a scam and they're just having fun with it. A, I bought it, I'm the idiot. 2, I actually went through YouTube and I did a search for eSmartr review and just in general some eSmartr videos of somebody else talking about it. And other than one that I found in another language, which I'm not even going to bother to try to dissect, the only one that I found in English is this.
Here, right? So let's open this. So the back looks like this, and the front looks like this. There's a lot of packaging. We're just gonna pull this out.
Some of you might look at this video and cringe because, people like to cringe at children trying to make things, but I'm looking at this and what I see is a child who got swindled by somebody that they probably look up to. He and his cameraman, who I presume is his brother, seem pretty excited about this product, and the only reason that I can think of for that to be the case is because somebody that he looked up to told him that it was a good product and worth spending their money on. Now, if this kid has rich parents and his rich parents paid for it, whatever. But what if you were 12 years old and you spent $65 of your hard-earned allowance on something that promises to make you a better gamer, something that promises to help you study harder, something that helps to make you just smarter in general? And you put it on and you hope for it to get better. And you say, "Don't worry, Mom, trust me. This thing is going to help me get A's in math class." And then you don't get any better because it's literally snake oil that you bought for $65. It's disgusting. I hate it. And I hate this thing and it feels gross and I don't want it on me. But I'm going to stick to this experiment. I am going to wear this stupid thing for a week. I'm going to wear this stupid thing for a week and we're going to check in periodically throughout and see how this improves my cognitive abilities, unlocks my neurological potential.
Your neurological potential.
I'm even going to wear this to my Smash Ultimate local tournament and see if I place any better. But I don't know, this whole thing is it's disgusting, it's slimy, and I hate the fact that I even gave money to these people. So we're gonna check in more throughout the week. We're gonna watch a few more videos together, and we're gonna see just how much smarter this ingenious clown can be. That was the dumbest thing that I've ever said. It's already working. I think it's actually meant to sap my intelligence. That's, it makes more sense. We're approaching the end of day 3 of wearing this thing. I haven't been wearing it 24/7, but I've been wearing it pretty regularly off and on. I haven't slept with it, but I took it to Starfinder. I played Smash Brothers with my friends, and overall, the only appreciable difference that I'm noticing from wearing this is an increase in the itchiness of my right forearm. I mean, just the way this compresses and just kind of rubs up against the skin where the elastic bands are, it's very uncomfortable. But one thing that I will say that's a positive about this thing so far is that at least it's not hot. I live in Texas and it's only the end of May right now, but it's already getting pretty hot outside. And I was imagining just sweating like crazy underneath this thing, but honestly, the difference in temperature between my normal arm and my eSmartr arm is very minimal. This is a very breathable fabric, so at least good on them for that. I showed the pattern, the inside pattern, to my friend who does a lot of 3D printing stuff, and what his assessment was that that's just a normal rubber material that you can 3D print with. It's the same kind of rubber material that you could actually 3D print on cloth with, and it's something that he said he's done. So that's another point in the book towards this being a complete freaking scam. So good job, eSmartr team, you did it. It's funny because whenever I wake up in the morning and I look at this thing just kind of splayed out wherever I put it the previous night, a sense of dread comes over me as I realize that I have to put this on for another day. It hasn't been a week yet, and I haven't yet taken it to my local Smash Bros tournament, which is going to be one of my goals, to take this there and defeat everybody, because now I'm eSmartr and I'm better. We'll see how that goes. I put this thing on Friday, and today is now Monday. I had today off due to a federal holiday, but tomorrow I get to go back into work, and I'm probably going to be wearing a jacket the whole time so I don't show my shame. And I don't have to explain this to people because, honestly, explaining that this is supposed to increase my neurological potential,
Your neurological potential.
even though I am explaining it as a bit of a joke, it's embarrassing. And then somebody's gonna ask, hey, how much did you spend on that? And I'll be like, I spent $65. $65? Are you crazy? I mean, I'm doing it for a video. But $65? You could buy a real video game with that. Instead, you bought a scam and gave scam artists money. That's the scenario in my mind. Minute after minute. Every time that I scratch this arm. But like I said, it's Texas. It's approaching summer. It's getting hot outside. We'll see how long I can continue wearing a jacket to hide this thing. We are now at the end of day 5 wearing the sleeve. I just got home from my local Smash Bros. Ultimate tournament, and I can with confidence say that I did not play any better than I ever have going to that tournament. In fact, I feel like I've played better in the past without the sleeve distracting me. Although, using this as an excuse for why I lost is just an excuse. But this didn't make anything any better at all. I made the same mistakes. I was even able to recognize that I was making the same mistakes because they're mistakes that I always make, and I just, my increased neurological potential.
Your neurological potential
didn't get me over that hurdle. Is that the sleeve's fault? No, it's mine. But if the sleeve did what it promised, if it did what it did in that commercial for that one dude in his basement, and I'd be going home with a big old prize pool tonight. That didn't happen. Snake oil. But something I wanted to do at the end of day 3 when I was recording this was, let's watch a few more videos, because there's a treasure trove here on YouTube on the eSmartr subscription page. They have 235 subscribers, which is more than I ever expected from these people. I thought they had less than this, which is weird. That doesn't matter. Let's watch this guy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Menace.
Who?
I am from The Woody Show, a radio show that you can hear across the country.
Oh. No, I still don't know who you are. Across the nation, though, huh? Sure.
And I'm about to get brain mapped by eSmartr. Let's go do it right now.
And now, The Woody Show.
Yeah,
let's
let's
Woody
go.
Show. We really hope this is going to be a day of discovery.
Gonna get brain mapped.
That's the plan.
Fingers crossed.
There's a number of mystery that revolves around Menace. If it can mean enhanced concentration or memory for Menace, I think that is definitely something we'd be interested in. Heightened decision making, increased stamina. Well, duh.
Need it.
Heightened decision making and increased stamina. Obviously, he makes a sex joke because it's increased stamina. Am I right? Am I right? It's funny. It's funny. Laugh. How's that for relatability?
All right, so what did we learn about Menace, guys?
Well, for one, that sleeve made his neurology 44% better within 15-20 minutes of putting it on. And that's tremendous.
Excuse me, what 40? First off, that sleeve made him neurologically 44% better within 15 minutes of putting on the sleeve. Yeah, right. What does that even mean? Neurologically? Just neurologically 44% better?
your neurological potential.
Or are we even at the point in neurological sciences that we're able to accurately measure to the percentage point how much better something makes you? And what is this broad term neurology? Neurologically, 44%.
I did wear the sleeve afterwards.
Right.
And I felt crazy efficient, which was weird. I got like 20 things done yesterday. Normally I would get maybe 5.
eSmartr. Play, learn, create.
What a rousing endorsement. Thank you, Menace. Because we all know that radio hosts are the epitome of unbiased advertisements, right? Am I right? I mean, I've never heard a radio host on any of the shows that I listen to shill for something that they probably wouldn't even be caught dead associating with otherwise. Let me let you in on a little secret. If you want a radio host to say something for you... Okay, but that's a radio host. Who cares? This is being marketed as a sleeve that makes you better at not just general neurology,
Your neurological potential.
but gaming. It's especially marketed as a gaming product. Otherwise, there wouldn't be this dope-ass frickin' scorpion here on the sleeve and this super cool, high-tech, futuristic, sci-fi hexagon honeycomb pattern to make you really feel like that things are coming together. So here, let's take a look at a video that stars somebody who has a YouTube channel in the gaming sphere with a significant audience. This is Zero. How many subscribers does Zero have? Oh, that's not good.
To improve mental focus, I honestly really haven't done anything. It's not really a topic that I've been like researching or looking into. It's more so along the lines of like, well, I guess I just have to take the L.
He admits out of the gate that he knows nothing about neuroscience or brain mapping or any of this stuff. What could possibly go wrong? Let's see how this goes. Surely he's going to learn something here, right?
Concentration and reaction times are some of the most important traits I can have because pretty much all the games that I play, somewhere or another, require reaction time or at least being pretty much focused on all the details of the game. For example, if you're playing like an RPG, you have to be focused on like all the little items that you can use, abilities and whatnot, keep track of all party members.
An RPG is really probably one of the worst things that you could have brought up here. Especially if you have a lot of party members, you're probably going to have a lot of pause action going on. So you've got all the time in the world. You're going to be focused on the game if you're invested enough in it. You don't need a stupid sleeve to tell you that your party members are about to die.
I'm pretty excited about eSmartr because, you know, the whole point of the product is that it helps you focus and pretty much clear out some of the stress and some of the side things that prevent you from focusing on a task at a time. So I think it'll really help me out if I can just use a product to enhance myself.
I'm already getting the impression that he's not even taking this seriously. Enhance.
So it gets a thumbs up from me.
But you give it a thumbs up just based on that fact alone without anything really to back it yet? All right. Maybe you know something I don't. Let's keep watching.
We're going to look at several different aspects of brain health. The image you see on the left is your brain before we put the sleeve on, and the image on the right is after. This sensory strip right here is where all the information comes in and out of the brain. So now let's see how that improved with the eSmartr tech on you. So we can see so many of those fibers disappeared. Okay. In fact, about 50% of them or more. So that's super significant change.
Again, guys, and I can't stress this enough, this could mean literally anything. Zero doesn't know anything about neurology. I don't know anything about neurology. You don't know anything about neuroscience or anything, any of us. We're all pretty ignorant of this fact. So this guy, this snake oil salesman, can literally tell us whatever we want to hear, whatever will make us buy the product. And because he has some sort of qualification in this, we're inclined to believe him. But I guess I'm jumping the gun. Let's see what he says that this is doing for Zero.
Now this is coherence. So these fibers are telling me how well do you share information with different parts of the brain. And so when it's blue, it's just taking a little bit longer to get that information from this part to that part. But the other thing we can look at is what's called information flow. Now this is just how fast can you send information from here to here? Is it within normal? When they're yellow, it's kind of like when you're in a crowded room trying to pay attention to one person, you're having to filter out a lot of stuff. So there's just a lot going on in your brain in this aspect. Now with our tech on, again, information calmed way down. We got a lot less fibers, which is significant, especially the motor function back here, which is all of your, how fast you're hitting your thumbs and all of that. And then this frontal cortex part here, you can see that's where your conscious control, your speed, your accuracy, decision making, major improvement in that area, which is important for gaming. So the back area is all clear except for a couple little strands compared to how much busyness was there. This is visualization, pattern recognition, memory, recall improved. And now focus and concentration improved considerably as well.
Okay, so he says it's for coherence. He says it's for motor function. He says it's for filtering out unuseful information from useful information. And it's for general focus. But again, we all have to take this at face value because none of us know exactly what he's talking about. This software, though, is real. I looked it up. It costs about, I think it was like $3,000 for a license to be able to use with whatever like little portable MRI that they're using. But just because that's real and the doctor is real and the other doctor is real and those co-founders are actually real people, that isn't enough to make me believe in this. Okay? It's not enough. It's a sleeve, guys. It's a sleeve that squeezes rubber into your arm and gives you a stupid little freaking worn pattern just from wearing it. How does this make you smarter? I'm getting angry again. Just calm down.
The inner thoughts I had on my brain map, it was that, well, first of all, that guy knows a lot of what he's talking about. I don't really know much of what he's talking about, but it sounds, a lot of it sounds very complicated. But then he used a little bit more simpler terms towards the end, so I managed to understand a little bit. But from what I could understand, I basically did better. So that's all I need to know. If I heard big numbers such as 50%, and I heard other big numbers such as it's doing better. So in my eyes, I'm like, yeah, that's all I need to know.
You figured it out, Zero. He knows what he's talking about. It all sounds very complicated. You don't know what he's talking about. Therefore, you have no other recourse but to listen to him and take what he says at face value. That, I think, that's why I'm making this video, is because... Okay, so... I'm the kind of guy who likes as little stress as possible. When I go to a doctor, I want to be able to trust that doctor because I know that I don't know that much about the human body to be able to fix it. So I'm going to trust him to fix it for me. Same thing if I take my cat to the vet. Same thing if I go to the dentist. They know about teeth. I don't know crap other than brush my teeth and floss every day. I take my car to the mechanic because the mechanic knows what he's doing. I don't. That's not my domain of expertise. My domain of expertise lies in video games and software development and screaming at a microphone, and I'm not going to pretend to know anything about any of this other stuff. That's why I pay these other people. That's why I listen to the opinions of other people who know what they're talking about. But when these people go out of their way to lie to the masses, to sell something like this, to sell garbage to a large audience of potentially impressionable people. And if you go look at Zero's channel and possibly even Raynad's channel, or I guess maybe even Trihex's audience, I'm not even going to pretend to know what his audience is like, or anybody that's a part of Tempo Storm, these aren't the people, a lot of these are probably kids, children who are going to see this and they're going to be like, what is that cool thing on your arm? And then you tell them, this is going to make you better at video games. And if you're a stupid kid, which a lot of these people who are looking at this are, you're gonna buy that hook, line, and sinker because you're not gonna know any better. And you could say all you want, that you are a smart kid, you wouldn't have fallen for it. But if your favorite person on YouTube, if your favorite content creator gives it the big thumbs up and gives it a big endorsement like these people are doing, your defenses are gonna be down. You're going to trust them. And then you're going to waste your money on this. You're going to waste your allowance on this. You're going to waste your parents' money on this. And it's not good, dude. It's not good. I have nothing else to say about this video. I mean, you could just watch it for yourself. It's... So, seriously. If you're involved in any way in a product like this, when you have the audience the size of Zero's or an audience the size of Trihex's, and this is going to be one of the very few times that you hear me say anything like this in a video, because I've been trying to keep this relatively clean, you can fuck right off. Everyone involved should be extremely ashamed of themselves. I don't care. I think I mentioned contracts earlier. Who cares? Who cares? Break the fucking contract. All right, I can't anymore. Not today. I have 2 more days of this. I'm gonna check back in on Friday, and we're gonna end the video. We're gonna end the video there. Okay? I can't. I can't. The day has finally come. The end of the 7th day of wearing the eSmartr sleeve. Do I feel any neurologically better than I did when I started this?
Your neurological potential.
No, not really. I wore this to work all week. I wore it throughout the day and ended up being more distracted by it than anything. And that was probably the most annoying part. Plus, I felt so ashamed of having this thing on my arm that I just hid it under a hoodie all week, even though it was like 85 or 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I mean, it's approaching summer in the middle of Texas. It's kind of warm. I've played Smash Brothers with my friends. I've gone to a Smash Brothers tournament, and I can't say with any confidence that I'm better or worse for having worn this. In fact, it still itches, and I hate it even more. Ugh, I don't like it. I'm glad that this experiment is over. But before we take this off, we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Because over the course of the past couple of days, I found a few things that are really interesting about eSmartr and the company in general. First off, the company's YouTube page is extremely suspect. You know, being a YouTuber myself, I know what a natural growth of subscribers usually looks like. It's generally pretty sporadic. You're gonna see things go up and down and up and down and up and down, or it's gonna spike really hard and then come back down. What you're not gonna see is a nice straight line over the course of a week or so, where for about 9 days you have the same number of subscribers. But that's what we see here. I have an add-on called TubeBuddy installed, which is something that a lot of YouTubers will have just for increased analytics and increased tagging usability, just stuff to help YouTubers out. But it also gives you, when you go to somebody else's channel, a live comparison of the subscribers that they've earned over the past month or so compared to the amount of subscribers that you've earned over the past month or so. Is that really useful information? I don't know. But just by chance, I went to that page the other day to look at more videos so I can talk about more things. And what I saw was that straight line that I was talking about. It goes from 0 subscribers a day to 23 or 24 subscribers a day from like May 2nd to May 9th, and then it goes back down to 0 a day. That never happens in the wild. And on top of that, what's really weird is I was talking to my friend Deephead Gamer about this phenomenon, and he went over to the channel's Social Blade page, and what he found was completely different from what I saw. I'm gonna have a screenshot here, but you could probably go look it up for yourself. But what is shown on that page is that channel gained 184 subscribers in a single day after weeks and weeks of getting 0 or 1 subscriber on a day. And for most of those days, it was 0, predictably. Now, YouTube's API and algorithms and how it does sub counts and stuff like that, it's all pretty mysterious. And it's all about to go away anyway, which is, it makes me happy that it hasn't gone away yet, because I can see this weird anomaly. All I know is that both of these numbers are highly suspect by themselves. You could take either one of these, and if you guessed that this channel has been using bots to get sub counts up, you would probably be correct. Again, if this thing was legitimate, they would not feel the need to make themselves look more legitimate by having a larger sub count. I thought it was weird in the first place that the channel had even 225 subs, or however many it had. It seemed too high for what this thing was in the first place. So either one of these numbers just, it screams to me that this channel is botting, which, again, red flags. I also did a little final bit of digging, and this is something that I really should have seen earlier on, because at the bottom of the store page for eSmartr, there's a little link to a research paper about this specific sleeve by a couple of guys who know about, neuro stuff.
Your neurological potential.
And I even mentioned at the beginning of the video, yeah, there's research, and this is the research. It's about 16 pages long, and it's full of stuff that I am not even going to pretend to understand. But there are some very interesting things here. The first thing that strikes me as odd is that at the very top of the page, it says, "Do not cite without permission." I don't know if that's how research papers normally work, or if that's normal practice for stuff like this, but that just seems weird to me. Isn't the whole point of these research papers to disseminate the knowledge and to give something to some other people who are doing similar research? People cite other papers all the time. I don't understand the point of a do not cite without permission, but maybe that's just a normal practice in this field. But again, and I keep going back to this, if this was legitimate, I don't see why they wouldn't want this knowledge to spread. Do not cite without permission to something as suspect as this kind of says to me that they are trying to gatekeep this information for fear of being found out as snake oil salesmen. But whatever, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that this is the specific culture of how research papers work. Second thing that I found interesting about this is I decided to do a quick search on the effects of pattern forearm stimulation, which are the first few words of the title of this research page. And on Google, it's kind of up in the air whether or not you'll find a specific research page, but I couldn't find anything about this. I couldn't find any paper citing this. I couldn't find any website that stored this. The only place that you can find this is the Shopify link from the frickin' store page for eSmartr itself. Also, highly suspect. Why isn't this published in any place that's a little easier to accept than a store page? Why isn't this in some official journal? Why isn't this on some research aggregation website? I don't know. I don't get this. The only thing that makes sense to me is because it's fake and they don't want this to actually be out there. A third thing that I found really interesting, and again, my inexperience with research papers in general could be showing here. I did a search for Dr. Robert Thatcher, who is one of the leading scientists or doctors or whatever attached to this paper and this research. And even on a page that cites all of the papers that he is a part of, this paper doesn't exist. This does not show up as something that he's done. Maybe that just has a lot to do with the lack of me being able to find this anywhere else. Maybe it's just not super public yet because this is relatively new. The whole thing was just announced, a month ago, maybe. But the fact that I can't find any evidence that this even exists on any easily searchable site, that, again, is suspect. It's a red flag. And finally, I want to point your attention to one of the very last paragraphs of this page. And I'm going to go ahead and read this out because this is probably one of the more interesting and honest parts of this whole thing. The exact mechanisms of action of the arm sleeve pattern on the somatosensory system are currently unknown. At least 3 hypotheses are: 1. The process of placing a sleeve on the arm affects the EEG spectrum independent of the pattern. 2. Dishabituation occurs because of the novelty of a sequence of edges that stimulate the forearm. Or 3. The specific properties and nature of the pattern making contact on the forearm is responsible for the EEG effects. Future studies are planned to compare a sleeve with no pattern to a patterned sleeve, and also to compare different patterns to further understand the nature of the somatosensory effects of patterns on the brain. If nothing else, this last paragraph should illuminate a lot of things, and just in case you don't really want to look into this very deeply yourself, I'm going to explain what this means to me, because this is important. First, they admit in the first sentence of this paragraph that they have no idea. They have no earthly clue why the EEG is different before putting on the sleeve to after putting on the sleeve. And the 3 hypotheses make a lot of sense, for the most part. The first, the process of placing a sleeve on the arm affects the EEG spectrum independent of the pattern, which to me would make sense. Because imagine this, you're going to a place to do some voluntary research, to be a voluntary research subject. You go in and somebody tells you that putting this on your arm is going to make you smarter, or maybe they don't even tell you that. Maybe they just want to measure independently. But whatever happens, whatever they tell you, this is going to be something different. This is going to be something that you're going to focus on subconsciously or not. They measure your brain with the EEG before they put the sleeve on, and they get a normal map. They get something to compare to that's unaffected by some outside stimulants. Then they put the sleeve on, and they measure your brain activity then. Great, that makes sense. That's what you're supposed to do, right? And again, I'm no neuroscientist, but this is what makes sense to me just from a psychological point of view. Not that I'm a psychologist either, but think about it. Somebody puts this on your arm, you're immediately going to be distracted by it. It's slightly itchy. The pattern on the inside is something that you notice the first time that you wear it, but after a while, I don't really feel it anymore. But it's something that you notice immediately after putting it on. It's a little cooler than the rest of the material. The sleeve is a little bit tight, so some of your attention is being drawn down here towards the arm, because just naturally you're going to be honed in on something new and foreign that seems to be doing something to you. This is the central object of the research, so obviously your brain is going to be thinking about it and maybe even focusing on it, especially if the doctors are going to be talking about what this is going to be doing to you. Regardless of the pattern, this is going to be a distraction. Their number 2 is dishabituation occurs because of the novelty of a sequence of edges that stimulate the forearm. I really don't think that this is any different than number 1. It's something different that's distracting you, that's foreign, that's going to be taking your brain's attention because it's abnormal. That's just something that's going to happen. Number 1 and number 2 are pretty much the same hypothesis. You don't need a pattern for something to be different. It's almost like getting a brand new job, right? You go in the first day and you are bright and you're eager to learn and you're happy to have a new job and you do the best job that you can to learn and do what you gotta do. But maybe weeks, months, or years down the line, you get a little bit complacent. You form habits and things just kind of start to coast along as opposed to you trying really hard to maintain or meet some sort of expectations. It's basically the same thing, but on a much smaller scale. And then their number 3 is the specific properties and nature of the pattern making contact on the forearm is responsible for the EEG effects. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you saying that this specific pattern on this specific part of your flesh is what's causing those specific EEG effects? The specific properties, and you're giving yourself way too much credit for this random ass thumbprint pattern touching my skin. And when you admit that you have no idea what's going on, this is a hypothesis that you can convince somebody that you actually have. And I don't think most people would bat an eye, but I don't buy it. And the insanity on top of all of this is the fact that they also admit that they haven't created a blind study with a normal sleeve. They haven't tested it without the pattern yet, and then they publish this paper. What's the point? This isn't research. This is just recording some anomalies and then writing a paper about it. This paper is essentially meaningless if this conclusion is the conclusion. All of this put together makes me think that this research paper is completely and 100% fabricated just to make it look like this thing is more legitimate than it actually is. But again, the thing that I can't get my head around, even with this amazing sleeve on, is the fact that there are real doctors attaching their names to this. Dr. Robert Thatcher, Dr. Joseph Baldino, maybe even more. This whole thing just blows my mind. And I wouldn't even be harping on about this. I wouldn't even care about this stupid snake oil product if it weren't being promoted by prominent members of the YouTube gaming or Twitch gaming community. I've already gone on my rant about them, so I'm not going to say much more. But again, to their credit, aside from what looks like some minimal contractual obligations, they are not pushing this. I don't see them wearing it in their videos or in their streams. And the whole thing, as far as I can tell, seems to have been completely swept under the rug. The eSmartr Twitter page is mostly dormant with just a few random posts about a giveaway that they did. I don't see why they wouldn't follow through with the giveaway. They announced the winners, so I hope they get their sleeve and I hope they get something out of it. But me, I got nothing but this video. I've got nothing but frustration. But to be completely fair, I went into this whole experiment with a massive negative bias against this product. That on its own could be the cause for this magic to not work, but I don't think that's the case. But regardless, this experiment is over, so it's time to finally take the sleeve. I think it's stuck. There's only one thing I can do. I have to cut it off. I have to cut it off. Emergency! Oh! I can feel the freedom as this cuts through. And yes! Freedom! It's defeated. It's much bigger when you rip it along the seam and then spread it all out, isn't it? I even cut it along this stupid thumb pattern. $65 down the drain. That was $55 plus a 15% discount plus $15 in shipping for this. Are you kidding me? Even though I hate that thing and I'm entirely convinced that it's fake, I still feel bad about having cut it because it was $65. So that was the eSmartr sleeve. That was a week-long experiment wearing it myself. And a couple of weeks sort of obsessing over the existence of this thing and the people that are involved with it. Like I said, I've already done my rant about trust for YouTubers and doctors and everybody involved. I've said my piece, and I stand by every word that I said. This product isn't making the rounds, so me making a video like this, I don't think there was really a very big point other than to, just do something a little bit different. I've always kind of wanted to make a video like this, and I can't say that it wasn't fun in spite of, this. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Was I too harsh? I don't think I was. I think people need to be held accountable. And I hope people hold me accountable if I do something stupid. And I know that this video is overly long for what I thought maybe was going to be a 10, 15, maybe even 20-minute video at most. But this kind of went off the rails, and I had a lot more to talk about than I thought. So if you're watching this outro, thank you so much for sticking with this video for this long. Hopefully you found it entertaining. Hopefully you found me entertaining. And hopefully I can find more excuses to do stuff like this in the future, but don't expect it, all the time. If you'd like to help me earn back some of that $65 that I spent of my own money to get this piece of crap, go ahead and head on over to chrono.gg/ingeniousclown, because you know that whenever you buy something over there, you're actually going to get something that you can get some enjoyment out of, and it's not going to be fake. At chrono.gg, you can get video games for some criminally low prices, and every purchase goes towards the developers, and it goes towards me. Every day there's a brand new deal, so if there's something that you don't like today, maybe there's going to be something you like tomorrow. So go over there, give it a look, maybe buy a little something, and help me earn back a few bucks on this absolute waste of money. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Damn it! Zero. There's only one way out of this.